Okay, as we approach 2004 on Lake, the right lane is a must-turn right lane. So we're going to move over to the middle lane because we're going to cross 2004 to get to either the Abner Jackson Plantation site alternate access point or to the beginning of our loop of Lake Jackson Farms. Okay, we'll proceed on through the intersection of Lake and 2004, and like I said, I'm working with the Lake Jackson Historical Museum to get us an alternate access to the Abner Jackson Plantation site, which is going to be right about here. But again, at this point, which is March the 12th, or March 18th rather, the site is still closed. So anyway, with that said, we'll proceed along the Lake Jackson Loop, which is, I think it's County Road 856 and Bayou Road. That's what it shows on the map. Okay, we're out here on this Lake Jackson Farms Loop, and again, this is just a beautiful area of Lake Jackson. You've got these old growth live oaks that just hang over the road, and it's really a beautiful ride out here. Okay, we're on the northernmost point of the Lake Jackson Farms Loop. It's pretty much where, I guess, County Road 856 kind of turns into Bayou Road. And one of the neat things about this ride is the beautiful, as I mentioned earlier, the beautiful old growth oak trees that are along the loop here. I mean, some of these things are obviously 5 to 7 foot in diameter, and I'm sure hundreds of years old. So that's another feature of this loop that makes it a really attractive addition to the Brazosport bicycle tour. Okay, at this point we're approaching the end of the Lake Jackson Farms Loop where it intersects into 332. But I just wanted to show you this property. This is the Dow Chemical Plantation house site. And you can just see it's a beautiful landscape of old growth live oak trees and hanging Spanish moss, and it's at 1 Bayou Road. But the reason why I bring this up is the reason why Lake Jackson exists is because Dow Chemical initially built a chemical plant facility down here in the 1940s to service the World War II effort. And that's how Lake Jackson came about. Alden Dow, which we'll visit the Office Museum of Alden Dow, actually conceived and constructed as an architect, designed the city of Lake Jackson. We'll talk about that more on our tour. So we're approaching the intersection of Bayou Road and 332, and we'll be there in a minute. Okay, we're coming up on the intersection of 332 I was talking about. I want to bring up one other thing. For you folks who are beginning cyclists who are going on this tour, this is pretty flat terrain, but every once in a while you'll get a little rise in the terrain or in the road, and you want to be prepared for that by gearing down your bike a little bit so that when you do stop and then you start again, you don't have to stand up and like pump real hard to get your bike going. So that's just another tip for navigating the tour a little bit more efficiently. Okay, after we make that stop there at the intersection of Bayou Road and 332 West, we're going to go on the shoulder here for just literally about 100 yards and turn left into the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. Okay, we're here at the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. This is kind of the office building here, and they have a beautiful garden set up with a pool, a feeding station, a couple of feeding stations for the birds where you can watch the birds come in and feed, a dripping water bird bath. So we'll take advantage of that. They're going to have a guided tour for us here, and also, like I said, they do bird banding on the third Saturday of each month, so hopefully we can schedule a tour across that. You know, this really is a neat place, the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory Sanctuary. This is a map of it. It's about 34 acres, but there's over 2 miles of trails on this property, and it runs adjacent to Buffalo Bayou. So there's a little pier where you can walk out and actually see Buffalo Camp Bayou. So it's a really neat and beautiful, well laid out, well organized, and well run place for us to visit on our Brazosport bicycle tour. Next few segments we'll show some of the trails and features of the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. Okay, we're going along the Flycatcher Trail here at the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory, and there's a nice little sitting area here. You know, it's obvious from this property that these folks take a lot of pride in trying to create a habitat and a place, a site, a sanctuary for people to enjoy birds, but also to help preserve and continue the habitat for this great migration path that Brazoria County is for the birds coming across the Gulf of Mexico. So that's part of the purpose, mission, vision, and goal of the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. You know, it's really neat running along these little hike paths through the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. One thing I need to make you aware of, this is the Gulf Coast, and as the temperatures increase, you're going to get more and more mosquito activity. So if you're coming on the tour, make sure you bring your appropriate insect repellent and be prepared to use it, especially when you get off your bike in any of these wooded areas. You know, we're only a couple of hundred yards off of 332, and you can hear the road noises in the background. But more importantly, you can hear the sounds of nature and be out here in it. And it's just right here outside of Lake Jackson. This really is the best kept secret of Brazosport area. Okay, at this point we're actually completing the Oriole Loop right here where my thumb is, and we're getting ready to cross the road. And again, there's elevated pathways across some of the low points, and it's just a beautiful walk through here. So that's kind of a quick virtual tour of the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory. It's literally a sanctuary for birds and for the people who want to watch them. Okay, as soon as we get done at the Gulf Coast Bird Observatory, what we'll do is we'll come back right out here on 332, and we're going to make a right, get on this shoulder, and there's really a couple of ways we can get back to downtown Lake Jackson, but we're going to take 2004 up here to the left and kind of take a little scenic route down 2004 to Dunbar Park and along Oyster Creek, and then to that way, and that way will take us right back into downtown Lake Jackson. Okay, we'll take the left right here, kind of avoid that intersection up there at 2004, and just kind of roll through the Brazoria County Work Activity Center, and there's a couple of speed bumps in here we have to be careful of, but this will get us back over on 2004, and like I said, we'll take it out to Dunbar Park, go from there into downtown Lake Jackson. Okay, we're going to take a right off of 2004 into the Dunbar Park Road. It says do not enter here. I did check with the Hike and Bike Committee, and bicyclists are allowed on this road eastbound. It's really a nice ride. It's right along Oyster Creek, and they've actually got a Frisbee golf course set up here, out here, so Frisbee enthusiasts can take advantage of that. A lot of facilities out here for kids to play on, playground, picnic tables, beautiful live oak trees right along Oyster Creek. So it's another great place just to spend lunch or spend a morning or an afternoon just kind of getting away from it all, even though it's just right here in the city limits of Lake Jackson. So if you get a chance, check out Dunbar Park. Yeah, I've taken an opportunity to stop here at Shy Pond Park here in Lake Jackson, along that way leading into downtown Lake Jackson. Just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about this park. It's just a wonderful facility. You can see the pond behind us. I don't know, it's at least 25 acres. Lots of fish in it. The park, the city of Lake Jackson, allows you to bring your kids 17 years of age or under and take advantage of that. Playgrounds, places to picnic, restrooms. It's just a wonderful park that's set right here on the northern side of Lake Jackson. So if you get a chance, another place you might want to visit when you come to Lake Jackson is Shy Pond Park, on that way. Okay, we're entering downtown Lake Jackson, crossing Oyster Creek Drive, and we're headed for lunch at the local.